right, Allison. So your overall project is a holiday theme. You want to be photographing in my take on it at least, is you want to be photographing in what would be like a commercial realm. So you would want this to be how you would promote yourself and what kind of images you would want for a portrait studio, right? Like you'd advertise that you were doing holiday shots and you'd invite people into your studio or you'd take people out on location and you'd be creating images that had a holiday theme. So you have this one image for Thanksgiving. It sounds like you're going to, over the next few days, create more images that have a Thanksgiving, or I would even encourage you to keep it a little bit more neutral so you can have people that don't celebrate Thanksgiving and have it more of a fall theme. So that would be something for you to consider. And then going into Christmas, there's a lot of holidays around Christmas, right? We have Kwanzaa and we have Hanukkah and all these other holidays. So, or even just like winter solstice. So, thinking of it as more of a winter shoot, I think would be helpful for an overall marketing plan. All right, you're at ISO 400 here, 24 millimeters. And I know I've talked before about using longer lenses, especially when we're closer to our subjects. So it's really important that you would use a lens that would be 50 millimeters or longer here. F11 at 1/4 of a second. And same as last week, that 1/4 of a second might be slow for this image, but I can't tell that by looking at it because it's so pixelated. And I know I go on and on about this, but I can literally see squares throughout your image. You see it on the back wall here, you see it over here, you see it on her face. So it's everywhere, it's throughout the image. And this is something that you need to correct. So I can't tell you if this is in focus or not because I'm not able to see any sharpness in her eyes because there's so much pixelation happening there. And like I said, that's affected your grade lesser and it's affecting your grade more now, and that will be even increased by the final because this is not acceptable for your imagery. Your image that you turned in last week, oh, I thought I had it open here, doesn't look like I do, was this pretty much the same setup. You had your niece, I believe this is, by this table. Now you've added a tablecloth, though I would make sure everything is as clean as possible, like pulling the tablecloth all the way over the table, not having part of it lifted up. So you've added that and you have a better exposure here. So last week it was pretty underexposed. In this module, you have a much better exposure. I had also suggested that you maybe close the windows in the background or change your angle of view because that's a really bright area and that's going to keep pulling our eye back to it. It doesn't look like you made that change, but you were able to get a better exposure despite that. You included this writing on your image, Happy Thanksgiving, and I feel like that is a little bit gimmicky. Unless this was being sent out as like a Thanksgiving card to family, you wouldn't really want that on your picture that you had up on your wall because you want the picture on your wall to be timeless, not to be tied to any specific time or holiday. Also, when I think about this the same as I think about watermarks. Unless you're composing this image with the intent to leave a blank space to have that Happy Thanksgiving. For example, if you were photographing for a magazine and you know the title's going at the top of the magazine and there's going to be writing on either side, you're going to give more space around your image. You're going to allow for there to be more freedom around the edges so that your subject that you would be photographing wouldn't have their head have words through it, right? So if you are going to continue to have the text, you need to be composing your images in a way where you're pre-visualizing that text and it's not interrupting anything. So that's going to be really important. You can obviously adjust the text a little bit to fit where you want it, but like you would want it not over the chair. You obviously don't want it getting too close to her face. So things like that. And then I don't know how many people you live with or you're in contact with, but hopefully by the time we get to your final, you have more than just your cousin that you're photographing, since you're thinking of this as more of like a marketing tool, a set of images that people would see and then want to hire you to create images. It'll be best if we have more of a variety there. So if that's possible, I think that would be best. If that's not possible, like we're in weird times right now, so that's understandable. All right, let me know if you have any questions about anything.